people say, "Oh, what made you want to be a comedian?" And I didn't ever really want to be a comedian. What I wanted to be was a cow. I'd seen them in farms, and they looked very peaceful. And I liked the fact that from something as simple as grass, they could make something as amazing as milk. But I felt the next best thing, because I can't be a cow, but the next best thing I thought was being a comedian and taking the sort of grass-like ideas of experience and turning them into the milk of comedy.
You sound like someone who went to Oxford but didn't pay attention all the time.
Well, I think that would sum it up. It's been a difficult year to try and write 6 blocks of stuff because everything's been so in flux in the news. You get an idea in place and then it changes and you can't get a grip on it. For example, as recently as 6 months ago, we had no credible opposition party and the Prime Minister hadn't been accused of having sex with the severed face of a dead pig. And I'll be honest with you, none of us in the satire community saw that coming. We didn't have loads of dead pig sex face stuff backed up that we could roll out. It's been a weird year. January last year, I had a good half hour on the go about UKIP, and I thought, well, that'll be all right for the records in December. And then in May, I was worried they were going to disappear off the face of the earth for the elections and wouldn't be able to do the bit. I was actually out campaigning for UKIP in Kent. Out of self-interest. But patriotism has been an ongoing issue, though, hasn't it? When he first came in to the Labour Party, Jeremy Corbyn was in trouble, wasn't he, for not attending an England rugby match and then for not singing the national anthem. Now, I don't know about you, but my grandfather didn't die fighting fascism in World War II so that people could be free to not attend England rugby matches if they didn't want to. All through the election, we were played off against each other, weren't we? The English against the Scots against the English. I mean, I've got Scottish ancestry, I've got Irish ancestry. I am English, and I'm very happy being English. Although, all right, I do have some anxieties about the England flag, okay, which I know is complicated. But I kind of think if people wanted me to love the England flag, they shouldn't have spent the entire 1970s running around waving it whilst putting dog excrement through Pakistanis' letterboxes. Ooh, not many laughs there, was there, from the hand-picked audience of the liberal intelligentsia here in East London? What can it be? Too young to remember, perhaps? Or racists? All racists out? OK, I'm sorry, I'm not... Right, but if you grew up in a big city in England in the 70s, one of your points of contact with the England flag was with the far right and the National Front and things like that. It was a far right symbol. In the 1970s, if you were flying an England flag off your house, it meant you were either an admirer of Adolf Hitler or a member of the royal family. There's 2 jokes there, aren't there? Did you spot that? There's 2. Did you spot them at home? 2 jokes. Look, I know it's different now, right, and the England flag's never used to intimidate anyone today, but it isn't. It's like a smiley face. But sometimes you're stuck with what a symbol means to you, aren't you? It's a bit like these old hippies that say, the swastika, Stu, far from being a symbol of Nazism, is in fact a Hindu good luck charm. And I always think, well, good luck with that. That may be the case, but you're going to need a lot of Hindu good luck if you're considering wandering around Golders Green waving one. I know that's London-centric. Don't write in from the north of England going, I don't even know where that is. I shouldn't have to laugh at the names of places in London. I know, but we're in London now, so that's why I've done it about London. I change it when I go around the country, right? In Glasgow, Manchester, Birmingham, whatever, I'll say to the people at the theatre, what's the Jewish part of this town? And I change that joke so it lands. Well, you can't always do it, you know, Truro, Inverness. If you're Jewish and you're in my audience in Inverness, you are the Jewish area of Inverness. Your seat, that's the ghetto. But, you know, it's had if we're honest about it, the England flag's had a checkered history in our lifetimes. And, you know, so that's why when that Labour MP got in trouble for saying that a bloke was flying one off his house, and, I could see both sides of it, and I said as much. And then, loads of people in my family were ringing me up and going, you don't understand, you've never flown an England flag off your house. And I have, actually. Here's what it was about 2 years back. What happened was, you remember, I don't know what it's like where you live, but where I live, when England got kicked out of the football, the England flags in all the corner shops, they went down from about 20 quid to 50p, and I thought, well, it's a big piece of material, it could come in useful, so I bought about 3 dozen of them. I don't know why, I wasn't planning a far-right demonstration, but I thought for the kids, for St George's Day or something, I don't know, so I kept all these England flags and I put them in the cellar, and it was June, wasn't it? It was the summer, and so I got all these England flags, and my wife had gone away for a week with the kids, and our cat, Jeremy Corbyn, was... OK, I'll just explain this, because it's... Right, I have always called my pets after the full names of real people. OK, I had a Jack Russell Terrier when I was 5 that I called Enid Blyton, because I was reading... I did, because I was reading Enid Blyton. And then I've always done it, and the cat is called Jeremy Corbyn, but it's nothing to do with now. We got it 9 years ago, right? And what happened? We were around at a dinner party in Islington, obviously, and somebody had a thing up, vote Jeremy Corbyn. He was local MP, isn't he? And I said to my wife, let's call the cat that. And part of what was funny about it was the absolute, just utter obscurity of the bloke's name. And nobody round the table went, oh, better not call him that. What if he becomes leader of the Labour Party? Back then, that was about as likely as if Tony Blair had become a Middle East peace envoy. You think a lot of people are going to have to die before that happens. But, yeah, listen to them clapping. Loony left, terrorist sympathisers. Woman's walked out at that point, furious. So the cat's called Jeremy Corbyn, and I've always called my pets after real things. I won a hamster in a drawing competition in 1970. I did in 1979 in my mum's magazine. I won this. I did. I won a hamster in a drawing competition. They didn't send it me through the post, if that's what you're thinking of. You got sent a hamster voucher, and you did. I had to take it to Acock's Green Pet Shop, hamster voucher. Remember that in the 70s, hamster vouchers? Oh, not hamster vouchers again, Gran. I got you hamster vouchers because you know what kind of hamster you like, don't you? And I'd get the wrong one, probably. So, not like today, download codes, don't they, the kids? Download codes and a 3D printer. But, yeah, I know, it's a bit modern for me, that joke, innit? But, and I called the hamster Karl-Heinz Stockhausen. After the post-war German electroacoustic avant-garde... I was a precocious 11-year-old. And about 1 in 5 adults would go, your hamster is called Karl-Heinz Stockhausen, who wrote Stimmung. And I would go, yes, ha. My sense of humour has not changed in many ways. I had a dachshund, a female dachshund in the 90s, which I called Matthew Broderick, after the then already largely forgotten 1980s American character comedy actor from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. It died, actually, that dachshund, rather sadly. It did its back in about 95, 96, jumping up to the shelf where I kept my guinea pig, Blind Lemon Jefferson. You grow older, your tastes change, don't they? And blues has always seemed a very truthful music to me. But about a year after the dog died, I'd written a film script for Hollywood. It didn't get made, obviously. I wouldn't be here doing this, would I? If, I'd be in Hollywood. But it nearly got made, and I got asked out to Hollywood to meet all these actors that wanted to be in it. And I was in this posh hotel in Hollywood. I was walking along the aisle of the corridor, and I saw a door, and it's on the door there's a sign, and it said, "Today, press interviews, Matthew Broderick, Inspector Gadget, right? And it's a bit sad because Matthew Broderick was now, he was having to do interviews, promote some kids' film where he's like a miniature magnetic-faced policeman or something. It's sad, isn't it? And I walked past and I looked through the door and I saw Matthew Broderick on his own, sitting on the edge of a bed with his hands on his knees, staring at the floor and just sort of opening and closing his mouth on his own, going... And I thought, now's not the time to go in and go, my dog's named after you. But it died, Matthew. Jumping up for something it could never have. Do you know what? It's mainly true, that story. There's only one thing I've changed to... I'm not telling you what that is.
It has been noted that I don't think you say a single thing that you mean, and probably haven't done in the last 25 years.
It's based on a lie. The whole routine's based on a lie. But, there's fun...
It's a good lie.
It's a good lie. It's expedient. It serves a comedic purpose.
So you set out to do a job that was way beyond your abilities. You worked out a way of trying to capture mistakes and turn them into something that looked intentional. And you've sold that to a certain audience who you now despise for believing your lies.
Yeah. But, it's a living. So the cat's called Jeremy Corbyn, right? And this means nothing. It's from 9 years ago and it had no meaning. But it is a bit weird now, obviously, because I have to go out in the garden at night, and I'm going, Jeremy Corbyn, come on in now. It's midnight. It's time for your worming medicine. But he knows his name now. I'm not going to change it. It's not his fault. I'm not having him put down because he's got a weird name. Like the dog in Downton Abbey. Did you notice that? At Christmas last year, the dog in Downton Abbey mysteriously died, didn't it? And Lord Downton was going, why is my dog dead? Why? And the reason that dog died, as Lord Downton knows full well, is because its name, if you remember, was Isis, wasn't it, right? Yeah. Which 2 years ago was an Egyptian moon goddess, but is now an awful terrorist group. So that dog in Downton Abbey had to die in Edwardian England because it was named after something which would be unacceptable in 90 years' time. It's not the dog's fault, is it? That's the best actor in the programme, that dog. I can't watch Downton Abbey now the dog's died. I watch it now and it just seems like thinly veiled conservative propaganda. Why can't you be happy below stairs? They obviously have your best interests at heart. Why must you make such a fuss? So, the cat's called Jeremy Corbyn, and it's not for any reason, it was just from this party. Anyway, my wife had gone away, and our cat, Jeremy Corbyn, had terrible diarrhoea. He'd not been very well at all, and what he would normally do, Jeremy Corbyn, is he would wriggle through his little flap, Jeremy Corbyn, and he would go... Jeremy Corbyn would go in the garden, Jeremy Corbyn, and he would dig a little... Wait, don't giggle at Jeremy Corbyn, because these are being recorded for... I need to get these in for time, right? And I've explained to you that the name of the cat is irrelevant, and I would just try to grow up. Then Jeremy Corbyn would do all his muck in the hole. He'd dig a hole, and it was very clean, and he would bury it. But because he wasn't very well, Jeremy Corbyn, he didn't want to go outside. So what he did, little Jeremy Corbyn, is he went down in the cellar, which is where... What kind of fucking shit comedian laughs at his own jokes? Fucking shit. I've made up something about a cat. Let's pick it up from... It would go down in the cellar, Jeremy Corbyn, and it would just... Because he... So I hope this doesn't get recommissioned, to be honest. Look at, I've lost it. I'm fucking useless now. Because he wanted to use his litter tray from when he was a little kitten, Jeremy Corbyn. And I remember the first time that Jeremy Corbyn used his litter tray. He looked so pleased with himself. A bit like when he thought of asking the public's questions in Parliament. See, I knew that was coming. That's what I was laughing at. I was laughing at how... I knew that was coming. It was making me laugh, the idea of doing that. The idea of being paid to do that. So... But because there wasn't any... Look, it's 9 years since he'd used the litter tray. There's no cat litter in it. I hadn't got any cat litter. And it was too late to go out and get any. But I thought, well, he was sitting there and he was going, meow, meow, and that's what he wanted to do. And you love them, don't you? And I thought, well, what can I line the litter tray with? So I was looking around in the cellar... And I thought, well, there are all those England flags there. And OK, right, I didn't do... What you have to understand is I didn't do this with any enthusiasm. I didn't go, England flags. I just thought, I've got 36 of them, right? No one's going to see. I know it's an important symbol, but it's in a cellar and there is no one to see it. So it's, by definition, it's not offensive if it's not offending anyone. So I thought... so I got the England flag and I started putting it in the cat litter tray. And it was as I was doing that, to be honest, I thought, this doesn't feel right. There's something... It means a lot to different people, this symbol. And, so what I did, I just folded it up really, really neatly and respectfully. A bit like when we left Hong Kong, remember? And the flag was on a lovely cushion, wasn't it? All folded up on a yacht. And Chris Patton was there with a big old feather in his hat. You remember? It was like that. So I got the England flag and I folded it all up in the cat litter tray. And then Jeremy Corbyn sort of squatted over it and he was going... And then... And that's when I thought, this is absolutely unacceptable. I hadn't really thought what it would feel like. It was completely wrong. But the problem is, it started now, and it was too late to sort of stop, and I thought, how can I make this all right? So what I did, I went like that. And I sang, God save... and he's going... Gracious Queen, long... If I know God... The Queen send... Are you all right, Jeremy? Perfect. Oh, it's nasty, isn't it? 3 years. Come on, get all the poison out, Jeremy. Long...
I suppose it's not fair to say that the difference between you and a 5-year-old is that you've got 42 years' worth of sort of pretentious explanation for going...
People will go, oh, he just went for 3 minutes. But if you couldn't just do that, right? No one would tolerate that. It's about the very fine variations. And again, I hesitate to... It's self-aggrandizing.
No, I know what you're saying.
It's like a jazz thing, right? It's not...
I knew you were going to say that.
I know. And people go, oh, he says it's like jazz, right? But on this occasion, it is. I mean, if you listen to someone like Miles Davis, I'm not saying I'm the same as Miles Davis, but I am in that if someone had said to Miles Davis, do a cat's diarrhea, right, he wouldn't just have gone like that. You couldn't do that. You can't even do that just then. And it's not any... That's not
what you
any
just
good.
did then, you couldn't do.
No.
Perfect. Confound them. Come on, that's only the second verse. Don't you know all the... Politics, frustrate... their knavish tricks on the... God... They've... Queen. I thought, oh, thank God it's finished. Because it was absolutely one of the most awful things I've ever seen. It was absolutely devastating. And I hadn't anticipated how awful it would be. Because you'd think, wouldn't you, that a flag or an anthem would have an entirely fixed meaning, unaffected by context or intent. But it was as if it sort of had somehow been changed. And I thought, I hope no one sees this. It's absolutely awful. So what I did, I got the England flag. I thought, I'll put this in the washing machine, right? But there's a problem, isn't there? I don't know if you've seen a cat's diarrhea. I hope you haven't. The problem is it a stain or is it a solid? Right now, it's mainly a stain. But there's just enough solid that if you put it in the washing machine, it would all disintegrate and it would be really horrible. So I thought, what I need to do, I need to let this dry out, this flag, and then sort of scrape the sort of crust off it, and then put it in the washing machine. So I got the England flag and I hung it outside the front of the house. Now, where I live is a very multicultural area. Over the road from me, there's an old Muslim guy in his 70s, a Rasta bloke about 60. My neighbours, they've been there a lot longer than me, you know, and I see them every day. Hello. And they came out and they saw this England flag flying outside the front of the house, and they looked worried, as well they might. I know it's different now, and the England flag's fine now, but they're of a certain age. They can remember the 70s, when England flags going up in East London, that would have meant National Front on the march, petrol bombs, whatever. And they looked worried, and I didn't want them to look worried. They're my neighbours. So I went over the road. I said, don't worry, I said. There's a perfectly reasonable explanation for that. What's happened here is Jeremy Corbyn has had terrible diarrhea, and he's done it all on this England flag in a cat litter tray. But it's all right, because I sang the national anthem while he was doing it. And they just sort of went and walked off. I thought, fine. Now, next door to them, there's a journalist. That's the kind of area it is, you know, coming up in the world. And the journalist came out. He said to me, "I'm sorry," he said, "I couldn't help overhearing. Did I hear you say that Jeremy Corbyn had done all diarrhea on an England flag in a cat litter tray while you sang the national anthem?"
And I said, I did say that, yes. I said, but there's one very important detail, and that's that Jeremy Corbyn is the name of my cat. It wasn't the real Jeremy Corbyn that did that. And the journalist said, well, I don't think we need to let a little detail like that stand in the way.
Good afternoon. Sorry for the technical blip there, but we've got plenty of breaking news to bring you.
Use of an obscene act performed by Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has led to spontaneous demonstrations. You're listening to today the headlines. News of an obscene act performed by the Labour leader. An obscure English comedian called Stewart Lee is thought to be the source of the story. Although Stewart Lee, now in hiding, it's claimed that the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn defecated for a sustained period of time.
Fucking dirty bastard! There's a man going round taking names, and he decides who to free and who to blame.
The flag appeared to be covered in
Everybody won't be treated all the same.
The government are appealing for calm tonight.
There'll be a golden ladder reaching down when the man comes around.
Large numbers of MPs are calling for Corbyn's resignation tonight.
The hairs on your arm will stand up
Certainly diarrhea.
at the terror in each sip and in each suck.
A year of community service.
Will you partake of that last offered
I
cup?
cannot have diarrhea at the time of the alleged
Or
incident.
disappear into the potter's ground
I think it's
when the
bloody
man
disgusting.
comes around.
That looks remarkably like you during rehearsal.
Hear the trumpets, hear the pipers.
Bad for me, man. Bad for me. It's the wrong thing.
100 million singing.
Sparking protests.
Which was seen hanging
Multitudes
outside
are marching to the big battleground.
Shoulder to shoulder.
Voices calling, voices crying.
He's still the strongest
The flag appeared to be
Born and some are dying.
red flag cannot.
It's Alpha and Omega's kingdom come. And the whirlwind is in the thorn tree.
что наконец подпишет свои
System trimming their way. Although Stewart Lee, now in hiding, claims the whole story started as a joke. Nonetheless, we are now on the brink of an unthinkable global war.